Hello, hello, dumplings. How are you? All right, so if you don't remember, the key to changing a decimal or a fraction to a decimal or a decimal to a fraction is to make it either a tenth, right? A tenth or a 100th, okay? And when you're changing fractions into decimals, the best thing to do, believe it or not, is just read it out loud, and that's really going to help you to see how to write it. Okay, so let's start with number one. This is a negative, so the first thing I'm going to do is write a negative here. And how would I read this? I would say -2 and what? -2 and 7/100ths, right? So now I need to see, like, where is the hundredths place here? The hundredths place. Where would that be? I know I have to put my decimal here, and I know there are 3 spots that we've learned about. So let's take a look. All right, this helps a little. Okay, so I'm looking for the hundredths, and that is right there. So right next to the decimal is the tenths, then the hundredths, then the thousandths. So that means that to write 7/100ths, I wouldn't put it here because that's the tenths place. So I would put the 7 here, which is 7/100ths. Okay, and I can always add zeros behind it. I could add zeros. I could say this is -2 and 70 thousandths, or I could leave that 0 off and make it 7/100ths. Okay, how will I turn 3/5 into a decimal? Well, what did I say is the easiest way to do this? If you make it equal to what? Right here, either a tenth or a hundredth. Well, this should be easy. I can make this into a tenth, right? And of course, I draw a box, but we could also put the letter in because we could put a variable there saying we don't quite know what it is, but we can figure it out. I'm so sorry. I've got something in my throat. I just want to apologize. So when I'm turning it from 5 to 10, is that getting bigger or smaller? Very good. Bigger. I heard you. I heard you. You in the back. So that means I'm going to multiply. What do I multiply 5 by to get 10? I multiply it by 2, which means I would multiply this by 2, which means I have 6/10. Okay, how do I write that as a decimal? I know I don't have any whole numbers. And if you remember, right there, where's the tenths? Right next to the decimal, which means this would become 6/10, just like that. Okay? I'm not going to totally answer this one for you, but I'm going to tell you it can be reduced to something over 10. And don't forget your negative. This is a negative over here. All right, let's move on to our writing a decimal as a fraction. Now remember, this still has to be converted. Writing a decimal as a fraction. Okay, how do you say this? What if you were just going to read this out loud? You don't say -0.8. How do we read that? We say -0 and what? 8/10. Well, 8/10. Whoa, what happened to that 8? 8/10 is easy to write. That's just like this. And bam, I'm done. What is this one? For what? Remember, the second one over is the what? The hundredths. So this would be 4/100ths. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, guys. Okay, and finally, this is probably our most challenging, but it's really not that hard. This is a -2 and what? Do you need the place value chart again? Look right there, we've got 3 digits on this side. So we would say that is -2 and 505 what? Thousandths. Very good. You guys are geniuses. You don't need me. Just go straight to college. You don't need me.